Welcome to the Bible Stories with Gian channel. In this video, we're diving deep into the life of Hannah, one of the most inspiring women in the Bible. Hannah is one of the most well-known figures in the Bible, especially because she was the mother of Samuel, one of Israel's greatest prophets. Her story is told in the first 2 chapters of the book of 1 Samuel. In the Old Testament, Hannah was married to Elkanah, a Levite from Ramah in the tribe of Ephraim. Though Hannah was deeply loved by Elkanah, she was barren, and this brought her great pain. To make things worse, Elkanah had another wife, Peninnah, who had many children and often teased Hannah about her infertility. Despite her sorrow, Hannah remained deeply devoted to God. She prayed earnestly, vowing that if God gave her a son, she would dedicate him entirely to the Lord's service. God heard her prayer, and in due time, Hannah gave birth to Samuel, who would grow up to become one of Israel's greatest prophets. Hannah's faith and dedication are truly remarkable. Her story is a powerful testimony of perseverance, trust, and devotion to God, even in the face of great trials. In this video, we'll explore her life and gain a deeper understanding of her role in the Bible. But first, let's take a look at her background. The name Hannah comes from Hebrew and means full of grace or kind. In the biblical narrative, Hannah is known for her steadfast faith and perseverance. Being barren in a culture that valued children, she cried out to God, pleading for a son. In His mercy, God answered her prayers and blessed her with a son whom she named Samuel, which means asked of God or heard by God. A powerful verse that summarizes Hannah's faith can be found in 1 Samuel 1:27-28. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord. This verse highlights Hannah's unwavering faith and her willingness to keep her promise to dedicate Samuel to God's service. Let's now explore the beginning of Hannah's story, as told in 1 Samuel 1. Elkanah, Hannah's husband, lived in Ramah, a town in the hill country of Ephraim. He had 2 wives, Peninnah, who had children, and Hannah, who had none. Every year Elkanah would go to the temple in Shiloh to offer sacrifices to the Lord. Though Peninnah often provoked Hannah because of her childlessness, Elkanah loved Hannah and gave her a double portion of the sacrificial meat. One day, deeply distressed, Hannah prayed to the Lord in the temple, pouring out her soul in prayer. She made a vow, saying, "Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and give me a son, I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life." As she prayed silently, Eli, the priest, saw her lips moving but heard no sound and thought she was drunk. When he confronted her, she explained that she was not drunk but was praying out of deep anguish. Eli then blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." In time, God answered Hannah's prayer, and she gave birth to a son, whom she named Samuel. After Samuel was weaned, Hannah fulfilled her vow. She took Samuel to the temple in Shiloh and presented him to Eli, saying, "I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him. Now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." From that day on, Samuel grew up in the service of the Lord under Eli's guidance. Hannah's prayer of thanksgiving, found in 1 Samuel 2, is a beautiful expression of her joy in the Lord. She praises God for His holiness, power, and faithfulness. Her prayer reflects her deep gratitude, not just for the gift of Samuel, but for God's overall goodness and mercy. Hannah's story teaches us profound lessons about faith, perseverance, and dedication. Even in the midst of her deep sorrow and disappointment, Hannah didn't turn away from God. Instead, she brought her pain to Him in sincere prayer. Her persistence and trust in God, despite years of barrenness, show us the importance of holding on to hope even when life's challenges seem insurmountable. Another important lesson from Hannah's life is the significance of making vows and keeping them. Hannah promised to dedicate her son to the Lord, and she faithfully followed through on her promise. This shows us the importance of being faithful in our own commitments, especially in our spiritual lives. Finally, Hannah's story reminds us of the power of God's intervention in our lives. What seemed like a hopeless situation, Hannah's inability to have children, was completely transformed through prayer and God's grace. Her story encourages us to believe that no matter how impossible a situation may seem, God can turn it around. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more Bible stories and lessons. May Hannah's journey of faith inspire you in your own walk with God. See you in the next video. Take care. God bless you all.